This is Dr. David Allen. I'm talking with Mark Beckford and Deanie Fountain. They're co-directors of our court-ordered juvenile program. This program is extremely important because we believe we have with us the young men who are engaged in the pre-murder violence, and we have studies to show that if we don't get them at a certain period of time, when they hit 16, 17, 18, they could be involved in murder. And we have a number of them, as Mark said. He could actually tell without intervention that's where they're heading. And Mark, when you see that in the child, how does it make you feel?
It makes me feel sad, you know, because a lot of times that when I see that, it just brings back memory of reflection to when, in my earlier days, that, you know, when I had graduated out of school, you know, hanging around the type of friends that I hang around with, and it's like, when I see what I see now, it's like, okay, well, most of my friends are dead. Only about 3 or 4 of them now are still in jail, but the majority are dead. You know, because we lived the same life and walked the same road when it wasn't even as dangerous. Now, it's like to get a gun, to join a gang, or to say to convince your friends to say, let's go beat this person or stab this person, and that they'll encourage you to do that. You know, they would encourage you to do that. And now, even like you see, now one time ago it was the boys, now it even funneling down to the girls.
To the girls, yes.
You know, so it's like, okay, is this slowing down or is this picking up? You know, and then you realize that when you always, even with me, one thing that hurt me when I was young was that I had people around and individuals around, but my parents were always busy. They were always distant.
Your parents were what?
They were always busy and they were always distant. Now, mind you, I never had to beg nobody for food. I always had clothes, like things. My dad, you know, my mom, hey, when it comes to bills, I didn't have to go beg and do none of those things, but that relationship and that family unit, to say that you have someone that loves and that can guide you. When you look at most of these kids are like, they're just throwaway. They're just out there. They're being rejected or they're being abandoned. And we're dealing with a generation of kids that either faces both or one of the two, either abandonment or rejection. And when you find out these kids with these things, sometimes you go to them just being gentle, loving them or caring for them, you will realize the respect these kids will have for you after, they won't even have for their own parents. Because now, when I drive into various street corners and various communities, I'm just passing and all you hear shout out, Mr. Beckford. You know, and like when the kids are around me or we together, it's like they could stay all day, they don't want to go home. You understand what I'm saying?
Interesting.
And until we put our foot down, until we put our foot down to really realize that, guess we got to take parenting serious once again in this country, we'll forever be going around in circles. We just need even a court system where it just deals with family issues. So much of these parents are getting away with being irresponsible. I cannot drive my car on the street being irresponsible. I have to pay attention to the road signs. I have to pay attention to other people's car. So I have a responsibility while I'm driving or down the streets. And a car can be easily replaced. How much more should I be responsible with the life of a youngster? We must take our youths serious that, guess what? Any area when it comes to parenting and the responsibility of our youth, we are letting these parents get away too easy. I can get a ticket faster and be reprimanded for running a red light, for a parent rejecting and abandoning their child and knowing that things are happening with their child. The parents are not being held accountable, Doc. The parents are the root. And unless we get to the root, the issues will never stop. They'll just keep funneling around and coming back around. And that's one of the reasons why, Ms. Fountain, when we are in the room with the kids, yes, we are counseling the kids, but we're like parental structure. We're like parents to them. It's like about love. It's about I care for you and I mean you well and I want to see the best and I want you to become the best. And when these kids see that, it's like after a while, you don't even have to force them to come back to group. Sometimes you would meet them there an hour ahead of time. Whereas they wouldn't even go to school.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then if you're going to school, you come to school till 11 o'clock. You understand what I'm saying? Wherever there's love, Dr. Allen, watch how these kids gravitate. Where do they love their phone? Where there's something positive they love, or where there's something negative they love. Wherever these kids love something, Dr. Allen, they can gravitate. Wherever man's heart is, what the Bible tells you, they will follow.
What also amazes me that sometimes they come early and just hang around you, Miss Dini.
They do.
So they have a craving for connection, a craving for love.
They do. And we had one of them the other day came by and bought his lunch. And I'm like, why are you here so early? I need to have lunch with you because I need to talk. And I'm like, but I need to eat my lunch, but I want to do it alone. Well, you're not going to do that today. You're going to have company. And we sat and we talked. And it was interesting to know that he wanted to talk about a relationship he wanted to go into. Where's mommy? And where's daddy? They're busy. And you're it. That's what he said. You're it. So they just need to know there's someone willing to listen. Someone who's not going to beat them up or beat them down. Someone who's not going to make them feel like, you're 16 or you're 17. Let's not talk about relationship. For the parents, they need to understand your kids are, when they get at this point, they're like developing nicely because the relationships, seem like a good thing, male, female. And so that's good. But to have someone to talk to who's not going to browbeat you, that's exactly what they need. And the parents could take a good talking too. And we're going to try to fix that. Can we talk about that?
It's amazing.
Can we talk about our parenting group that's going to start as early as this Wednesday?
Right.
At 4 o'clock, right at our Collins Avenue office. We're starting a parent group for all of the adolescents that's presently in our group, whether they're court-ordered or not. We've invited all the parents to come and be a part of our parenting group because we want to hear from them, as well as what we get from the kids, from the teens. We want to hear them. We want to hear their concerns.
So, Dini, you believe the parents do care for the kids?
Oh, the parents care. It's just that they're so busy or pretend to be busy. I don't know.
Or the demands on them are so heavy.
Really? And so by Wednesday, after Wednesday for a session, we'll be able to have a good idea of exactly what's going on in Johnny's house and Susie's house, Betsy and Philip's house. We'll be able to know.
Now, Mark, you spent some time at one of the public schools. Which one is that?
T.A. Thompson.
T.A. Thompson. And you went in there because they're having a big trouble with issues, fights and stuff. What approach worked to get the kids to settle down?
I took a disciplinarian approach, a loving one, not just so-called hardcore, but one that I mean you well. I have to discipline you with balance and with structure. And where on one of the main mechanisms I use was a very simple one, Dr. Allen, but the bottom line is it basically almost eliminated the gang issue and the fights that were on T.A. Thompson campus. I went to the fathers.
When what?
I found the fathers.
You found the fathers.
Whenever a child...
Wait, how did you find the fathers?
When I go to the administrator, okay, where does this child live? When I find the mother, now who is his daddy? So I track down the dad. And I would have that dad come to the school and I want you to deal with Junior. I said, he ain't listening. And after a few fathers came, and some of the boys saw what was happening, they didn't want their fathers to come.
They what?
They didn't want their fathers to come.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So just the presence of a father. And the thing about that is they say, when I find the mother, now who is his daddy? So I track down the dad. And I would have that dad come to the school and I want you to deal with Junior. I said, he ain't listening. And after a few fathers came, and some of the boys saw what was happening, they didn't want their fathers to come. So just the presence of a father. All the fathers didn't come. All the fathers didn't come. I just got several fathers that come to deal with several of their kids who were part of these gangs and doing various things. And guess what? It was a different ball game. Within a matter of, say, about 1 month, it was a different ball game. Yes, the mothers are holding the fort, and hats off, and I must commend the mothers. But you're not a father. As the child gets older, it's a different ball game. The weight and the load gets heavier with a child. Without the presence of a father, it's a different structure how that child thinks and maneuvers.
Wow, it's a powerful example that you went to the mothers and asked where the fathers, got the fathers to come to the school to confront the child, and then the other guys caught on, and their behavior changed.
And then some of the kids, where I wasn't able to locate the fathers at that time, I then had the fathers come to their home, or I told the mother, well, I would step in as a father for this child, and I would come to the home, and I would deal with them as a father figure. So, me and the mother have made a contract that, guess what, as of now, put your John Henry here, I would govern this child now, and I would monitor this child's behavior. So if he or she slips out of hand, you give me parental rights, that guess what, I can discipline your child, I can discipline this child, and I put my foot down. And it was a major, and Dr. Allen, when I tell you a major change, it was like, okay, from having a fight every day, almost a semester went, and you hardly had 2 fights.
Wow.
It was like little issues about arguments that were pretty, but it wasn't no fighting, and the knives was almost eliminated. Bringing the knives on campus like eliminated. These gang rivalry was like almost eliminated. Like when the kids fighting, like half of the school getting the other half of the school, and whatnot. Like it was a different ball game. To the point now where our buses, when they would drive down Pontiac and Frankton Road, they wouldn't stop for a group of T.A. Thompson kids. Buddy, you gotta walk. I don't want you on my bus. And the bus drivers literally will tell them, don't come on my bus. Because they know if they catch their bus between H.O. Nash or Pontiana Drive, 8 times out of 10 it can be a fight, and those buses can get vandalized, or they go Nassau Street.
So Mark, what you're saying is the turf wars now are beyond the schools. They're in the community. And even the bus drivers are aware of these turf wars.
Yes.
And they have to be careful who they take on the bus.
That's
Right.
So Mark, how do we solve this?
And that, mind you,
I understand you're going into school to work it out, but how do you work it out on the streets?
now in that route, what we did was, I got some assistance from Quaco Street Police Station. Officer Charlton was the main officer I worked with, along with Officer Sergeant at Quaco Street Police Station. What we would do afternoon patrols. And we work closely with the ECHO unit, the patrol unit, that when school is going in or coming out, you will see more of the police car patrolling the school zones, where these kids will hang out. And what we would do is that we won't allow them to hang out in their pockets, because you could tell when gangs are hanging out in their pockets, we will disperse the pockets. And you only have a certain amount of time at a certain location. So between the patrol car, me and Officer Charlton just making those afternoon patrols, you weren't there to hang out long enough. Wow. And then now you find out that coming almost time to the end of the semester, at 3:45, 3:50, the buses now are parking back up on the road waiting for the school children to come on the bus. And the businesses people, that after they notice us walking around, say, boy, you're doing a good job. Now they're confident now to do certain business back again. Because even the businesses in those routes was at risk. With those kids fighting and throwing missiles and throwing rocks and certain things. Now you realize that they'll tell you.
So Mark and Dini, something can be done.
Yes.
Something could be done. And we're trying to do it.
And to say that certain kids are hopeless, you don't buy that?
No.
I don't.
So then that would make me hopeless, Dr. Allen.
Exactly.
And where these kids are and the things that
How do you mean to make you hopeless?
because the things that they're doing now, Dr. Allen, I was at a deeper level than them. I was worse than them. So if the Lord and opportunities and from the love from other people can change me and make me a better person, for sure it could make them a better person.
So we could,
They're not lost.
could be done.
It's beautiful. We're going to take a break and be right back.